Furious negotiations unfolding right now in Washington. The White House and lawmakers are said to be inching possibly closer to a debt deal. And we now know that Harry Reid has signed off on the deal pending caucus approval. So when all is said and done, does anyone come out of this looking politically stronger? Alexis McGill Johnson is a Democratic strategist. Ford O'Connell is chairman of the Civic Forum PAC. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. Very
busy day. So, Alexis, I'll begin with you. Who do you think comes out on top in all of this?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, I think they all look like a bunch of 2-year-olds right now, and I think they're quite frankly giving 2-year-olds a bad name. This has been a very, very disturbing political drama over the last few weeks, and I think the challenge is that where the American people are going to come out, they're going to see that Republicans have actually forced an unnecessary and reckless choice in this conversation around the debt ceiling, which is really just a ruse to gut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid out of our budget. And I think people will actually penalize the Republican Party next year for this.
Ford, your take on that?
I disagree. Look, the number one issue for Americans is jobs. Taxes and regulations are killing the job market here. If we default, we lose jobs. If we default, we hurt the global economy. The bottom line is Democrats don't understand we can't raise taxes if we want to improve jobs. What they really don't want to do is deal with entitlement reform, and the president's scared with his approval rating at 40%. That's why we're here. We're here because of the hard work of the Tea Party. But if we do default, there will be political suicide from my party.
And Alexis and Ford, to both of you, I do want to bring this up because this seems to be developing as one of the sticking points in all this, and this would be cuts to defense spending and not, in fact, the social programs that you were just referencing, Alexis. Yes. And apparently, as part of this new deal, this compromise, in the second round of cuts, we're talking about $540 billion in defense spending being cut. That's about half of the overall cut number. Also, there would be some cuts to Medicare. So, again, I ask you, this does seem to be coming on perhaps the heels of some of our military members.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that we have to look at this in the context of the economy, and I'm glad that Ford brought that up. I think that we have a tremendously fragile economy right now. We have 9% unemployment, and to talk about spending cuts, particularly, I mean, you start cutting things like Social Security and Medicare, you're taking away money that needs to be, that older people need to be.
But we're talking about half of those cuts coming from defense programs.
Yeah, in the future as a trigger, and I think actually that in the state that we're in 3 wars, that when we begin to evaluate...
One of which you guys created.
One of which we created, yes.
And you boosted the spending in the others, and we've got no exit plan. No, really, you guys didn't help that one out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the wars have been driven up. They were not created by us initially. And I think that spending has been completely overblown, and I think we do need to see some smart reductions there. But I don't think that the entitlement cuts need to come at the expense of middle-class Americans, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I understand why a lot of progressive congressmen and Democrats are unwilling to sign this kind of bill.
Our entitlement programs are going bankrupt. We need entitlement reform. We also need reform at the DOD. We know there's inefficiencies out there. We just have to make smart cuts in the Defense Department, because at the end of the day, we have to maintain the most effective and efficient fighting force in the world, and we have to back our men and women when they put their necks on the line for us.
All right, that has to wrap it up, you guys. Thank you so much. And at the end of the day, to quote you, Ford, the debate continues on Capitol Hill, so we'll see where we go from here. Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you.